Ready to go green for 94 laps of racing in playoff race number 2. The pace car is off. Kyle Busch looking for a rebound weekend after trouble in Darlington after a strong start. And here we are, stage 1, 25 laps, stage 2, 25 laps, the final stage, 44. The green flag is out and we are underway in Kansas. A great launch off the grid for that number 8 of Kyle Busch. Jay, we saw some ups and downs for playoff competitors in Darlington. Right now, Kyle Busch 1 point out with Almirola 6 back, Austin Dillon 8 back, Ryan Preece 12 back. They're all very fortunate that other playoff drivers ran into issues and they find themselves still able to climb out of the hole that they find themselves in.
Yeah, and after just one race of this round, Allmendinger's in by 1, Keselowski in by 15, and Elliott in by 16, Blaney in by 17. So really, Gary, aside from Allmendinger, if you're Keselowski or Elliott, 15 and 16, not exactly safe, but that is at least a little bit of a cushion that you have there compared to AJ Allmendinger, who's in by only 1, and I'm sure sweating right now because we're back onto an oval where traditionally this season we've really seen AJ Allmendinger not do anything at a 1.5 mile oval or anything else, really. I don't even know how he's in by a point. Must have got lucky with some drivers having issues. That 16 car has been one of the worst performing cars all season long, and there you see they're already back in the 30s.
And how about this? Byron Truex back here. Blaney, Almirola. You see Carson Hocevar in the number 42 just ahead. But look at that 24. Byron struggled a little bit in Darlington. He worked his way forward late in the day.
He's made the playoffs, but not gotten that win. However, coming into this race, Gary, oh my goodness, we have a crash. That's the 31. I think it might have seen somebody else sliding as well. No contact somehow out of that group right there. The 24, I think that might have been the...
Watch the Dr. Pepper 23 of Bubba Wallace tag. The 3 in the left rear. Hook him into the 19. Playoff implications. Strike 2 playoff contenders somehow. Not as many cars get involved. That could have the 31 getting a piece of it there. But everybody else managing to slow down in time and not arc a break into the accident aside from Ty Dillon. Everybody came into the pit lane, which is shaking up strategy. 2 tire calls, 4 tire calls, no tires as well. And that has put playoff contender Ryan Preece on the front row alongside Chase Elliott. Jay, as usual, we see that outside lane getting the advantage as we head down towards turn 1, but early chaos here in Kansas would not be surprising, especially in the playoffs, if we see a day filled with chaos here for these 94 laps of racing.
And the only caution is giving Chase Elliott the lead of this race as well. Gary put one of our playoff drivers out into the lead. He had a bit of a rough start to the race, but now leads and has Ryan Preece and Joey Logano side by side behind him, giving himself a little bit of a breakaway there. Single file Cindric as well, trying to shove his way into the top 3 here, trying to make a pass there on Ryan Preece, but not able to do anything. 3 wide here as well with McDowell in the middle, Blaney, Bowman next to him, Larson trying to make his way back forward, and another bit of 3 wide behind him as well, and a bit of contact up towards the front. Bowman on the high side slides backward, Blaney in the middle, and down on the bottom goes with a big run and almost makes contact with his teammate Cindric. Gary, these restarts here at Kansas, this is really the most wild track we go to for restarts, and you're seeing it here early on, 11 laps in.
Well, up front right now, it's Elliott with Logano hot on his rear bumper. Logano only 1 win this season, and it came at a 1.5 miles. Could he get win number 2 on the day? And
gets a big run off of turn number 2, still side by side down the back. Gary, this 5 car, Larson, very, very strong, almost going to be able to make a pass easily on Chase Elliott here, with the outside being at a big disadvantage. He's up towards the top 10, so never mind about really struggling. But if you're Kyle Busch, if you're Almirola, that's a big crash.
Yes, it is. Denny Hamlin, playoff implications. McDowell's dead. Truex is going to get involved. Austin Dillon, we have multiple playoff drivers taken out. Denny Hamlin has an issue right here. Watch this car fall off the pace, and then he has got the 38 right there with him. They go crashing down into turn 1, wipes out all of Front Row Motorsports, and other cars start to pile in. Truex, Austin Dillon says, get me involved in this. We just saw 3 playoff drivers get wiped out due to Denny Hamlin having a mechanical failure at a really bad spot on the track. A great start there for the 5, but Martin Truex Jr.'s early issues now seeming pretty good for that 19 team, who still find themselves in this race, unlike 3 of their competitors.
And Truex is almost a part of that second wreck as well, but got away with it, stayed up against the wall, and got away with missing the second crash and stays in this race. Austin Cindric off camera. We noticed he got involved at the end of the crash with Brendan Poole. He's out of the race now as well. So that's 3 playoff drivers, Gary. 2 of them coming into this race with a decent-ish gap, but Denny Hamlin only 33 points above. There is some big-time opportunities for guys like Busch and Almirola in this race, Gary, coming in only 1 and 6 points down consecutively. Porter must have been on the outside, losing a couple of spots there. How about LaJoie in the 7, Gary, running really strong. Got some strategy luck, been able to stay inside the top 5, but off turn number 4, it's all the 17. Chris Buescher wins stage number 1, takes away a playoff point from a playoff driver, Gary. Really strong run from that 17 there.
And Chase Elliott, no, he loses the final stage point to his teammate of Alex Bowman in the 48 car now. As they, maybe not even a bad call to stay out, not only because of the no tires, or for 3 laps is all they did, but as well, let's keep in mind, it's been a very much so start, stop, go kind of stage 1 so far that we have seen continuous cautions. We could see that again here in stage 2.
Larson with a really good launch on the high side, as we have seen continuously over the past 6 or 7 races, but then they go through turn 1 and 2, and the outside is such a huge disadvantage. You see already dissipating big time. The inside making their way really well against everybody else, and also speaking of making their way forward, there goes Christopher Bell. 2 passes and 1 through the middle, 3 wide. The 3 wide has certainly returned once again, Gary. These guys are being super aggressive on these restarts, and so far we have not seen a long run come into play so far. So really, we think we know who the faster cars are, maybe Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, but he is staying right with Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch, just mentioned him a moment ago, his car is so strong. Well, not strong when you're on the outside. That's 3-4 positions in 1 corner for Kyle Busch, so you just lost right there. The 8 car needs to get every single point possible, Gary. We talked about it, him coming into this race 1 point down on the cut line, up on his back bumper. The pace starting to come into play now. LaJoie may start to fall back, but the thing to watch for as far as pace goes is the 5 and the 38, not catching him as fast as we thought he would, Gary, but still, when he does catch him, may not be so hard for Larson to get around, but those guys are scrapping it out for seconds.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, he blocks! He blocks! I said it wouldn't be that hard, and then he blocked him, and now Blaney's right here for the lead. Logano goes through to 3rd. LaJoie up on the high side loses spots, may get blocked by the 38. He does for a moment. My goodness, Todd Gilliland thought he was going to be easy to get around. He was not. Now Blaney side by side for the lead into turn number 3.
So Todd Gilliland has cost Kyle Larson the lead, but they're going to be, oh my goodness, at 22 right on his left rear just about as they cross the stripe. That 5 actually held on pretty well on the top there.
Also, Gary, we talk about the 48 of Bowman missing the playoffs. We have not seen Bowman run this strong all season long. And here we are into the second race of the playoffs, and the 48 finally shows up and shows that Hendrick's speed, but unfortunately for him, it's too late. If he wins today, all he's doing is playing spoiler. He cannot get into the playoffs. The playoffs started last week in Darlington, so for a Bowman, bit disappointing to have this speed now instead of earlier in the season, but still looking to build upon that for next season.
Well, Larson's going to pass that 48 move.
Gilliland again, and he's going to block the leader again. Blaney's going to go to the high side. We might see a pass on the high side for the first time.
Well, hold on.
Entire race or not, because Gilliland goes up to block the high side. Now Larson by for 2nd, Chastain by for 3rd, and now Blaney might get held up even more. He's still behind the 38.
He might not even get stage points, does it?
In this battle off of turn 4 and the final time at stage 2, it'll be Joey Logano, Gary, finally a playoff driver winning a stage, doing everything he can there to get himself more points, more playoff points. Logano right now in a pretty good position here in Kansas.
Blaney got a point. Great launch off the grid for that McDonald's 45, another non-playoff driver. Of course, the driver you expect to see in the playoffs. Jay Larson getting aggressive into turn 1.
Wasting no time as Kyle Larson taking it 3 wide, and that's going to put Suarez on the short end of the stick big time, losing a lot of momentum on the outside. Look at Larson with a run off turn number 2 to the inside of Reddick. Logano out to the lead, but Larson, Gary, a massive jump on this restart. Took it 3 wide through 2, gained a spot that way, gained a spot on Reddick into turn number 3 as well.
Unbelievable there. And how about the 45 fights back on the outside? Seems like the outside fights back relatively well on the exit of 4. But obviously, they're 4 wide in the background. That's going to be big. Watch out, the 77 just hit the wall. That's going to be destroyed. I think we're still green. We are still green here in Kansas at 77. Jay, I don't think I've ever seen a car hit that wall at that kind of speed in my life.
Harvick really down the front straightaway, held off well, and Chase Elliott's going to make it 3 wide into turn 1. That makes Harvick back out of it all the way up on the high lane. Chase Elliott might get a 2 for 1 there. Not clear of Chastain just quite yet, and not going to be clear down this back straightaway either, but
Chastain is flying, and the time we were looking at the 6, he was able to drive up to Larson, pass him, and we got problems.
There's some smoke.
How have you crashed on your own?
Goodness.
He is all on his own.
There's no way it was on his own.
There's no way, but the caution's out. And look at how slow the 38 is. The closing rate between him and Ryan Preece is too much to calculate for the 41 and the 38. They come together, and that is going to cost that 38 even more pace as we see more playoff implications. Ready to go green. Less than 25 laps to go. Chase Briscoe in control, not for long, because there goes the Trackhouse driver of Ross Chastain, who blows the doors off of him. Daniel Suarez up here in the mix as well. He's had a pretty decent day. Of course, missed the playoffs as well as they head down into turn 1. Jay, that 1 car is long gone.
The 14 is incredibly slow. He's really going up the outside line. You don't want to be there on the outside in the first place, but makes it worse when you got the 14 holding the whole darn thing up. Harvick gets lucky, gets to the inside. Larson's still stuck up on the outside lane as well. The 5 car has been one of the fastest cars we've seen all race long, Gary, and every single time on the restart, it seems like he's having issues. And might have some more here, contact, still more contact. They escape away with it 3 wide, and the 14 really slow. The 38 also.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Also, speaking of really slow.
I wanted to make sure he was slow as molasses. He certainly is. That wreck did not do him any favors as they continue on. And up front, how about this? Logano got to the inside of Chastain. Yes, Kyle Busch is here as well. And the number 8, Elliott, up the track. That pushes Chastain backwards. And Jay, 2 of the fastest cars we talked about, Logano and Busch, now into the top 2.
Yeah, that 22. This is his best race of the year so far for Joey Logano. Absolutely, right now I think is the car to beat. Chase Elliott and Chastain side by side. Playoff implications. The 41 crashed again.
Ryan Preece again gets dumped on the exit of 451. Yaley turns him around, and watch this hit the 51 takes as he slides back up the track. Boom! Big airborne impact right there as the caution flies for 2 cars wrecking for, well, last position. Rolling again from Kansas. It's 14 laps to go, and it's a good launch for the 22 of Logano. That spells bad for Chase Elliott, and maybe Kyle Larson's not going to be a fan of how this is going to go, I think, Jay.
That's the most even restart you've seen all day long. An advantage, I would even say, going to the inside, especially through turn number 1 and 2. Logano easily out to the lead. That just shows how strong that number 22 is. Chastain by Chase Elliott for 3rd place right there. Larson stuck once again up on the high side, as is Kyle Busch. And oh my goodness, almost contact between Harvick and Chase Elliott. That puts Elliott all the way up to the high side, as does Kyle Larson. They're 3 wide down the front straightaway once again, Gary. Logano out to the lead, but back here behind him, it is a hornet's nest of 3 by 3 by 3.
Oh, is this Talladega? As Harvick's way up the track, and Larson, Elliott are getting the short end of the stick, and Suarez going backwards like Jeff Gordon is upside down at Talladega road course as they head down this back straightaway into turn 3. What? I don't really know, Jay. As we continue on, I think I just heard a car on the wall. I could have sworn I just heard a car on the wall, as I do see Harrison Burton in the pits, but maybe not.
Gary, the 20 last week started up front, ran up front, won the race all season. Started up front, has ran well and never been able to finish well. This time didn't start up front, has ran like trash. Here at the end of the race, he's here. Let's see if he can go for 2 in a row. But Joey Logano is going to have something to say about that, because this 22 is incredibly strong, and so is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch already back into the top 5, making a move to the inside of Tyler Reddick. There goes Bell to the inside of Chastain.
They go down this run stretch, and here comes Christopher Bell to the inside, and Logano.
Kyle Busch just threw away his race.
Yeah, he decided, you know what, I don't want to win. I don't want to move on in the playoffs, but Christopher Bell takes the lead with 10 to go. Chastain follows through on the inside as well. Kyle Busch clearing the 3 so he doesn't lose too much, and he might actually get to the inside. Jade Logano, well, this is the worst he's run all race.
Foot up to the outside, which he does. He might not be able to hold on to this. Kyle Busch, one of the strongest cars in this race, makes a move easily to the inside.
Clear.
I'm very wrong. Bell holds on to it easily. And wow, hello, 2 boys at once. That's going to slow up Christopher Bell. Here comes Chastain to the outside. Is he going to get past? He gets slowed up. He gets blocked.
Oh,
Bell,
my goodness.
Busch into this picture. Reddick into this picture. Oh, my goodness, lap cars.
2
you know
of
what?
them.
I almost want to thank the lap cars for giving us this little moment right here. And now we got top 4, top 5 Larsons here. Top 5 drivers together for the win.
Caution is out. Caution is out. We have a yellow. It's going to be overtime. Briscoe brings out the yellow. They still got to race it back to the line. Let's not forget, out of turn 4. So this is big right here. Reddick's going to be second, which could be perfect for the restart. 2 non-playoff drivers will be the front row. Martin Truex Jr. fed up with a rough day in Kansas. Hooks the 14 out of turn 4. Turns him through the infield. Continues on with his day. And 14 slides back up into the track driver's side first into the outside wall. There has been a slight error as the guy running this has potentially forgotten to add laps for green-white checkers. The race
we have yet to figure out.
We have yet to figure out, although it's on my screen saying I forgot to add overtime. So the race is over.
Definitively.
No, not 100% sure, but the race is over, and Christopher Bell is going to come out of here with the victory. So he's going to go back to back after missing the playoffs, which means Kyle Busch will be your best playoff finisher. Jay, that might be the most blue-balled moment of the NR 2003 series we've ever had.